All right. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome. I am just getting everything turned on here. Running a couple minutes late today. Story of my life. But really happy to have you guys on here. Yeah, as per usual, my call before went long because turns out I like to talk. So Destiny knows all about that. All right. Got Jennifer coming in. We got Brianna. Nice. Okay. I just had somebody ask me for the link, so go ahead and send that. I'm gonna give maybe like 2 more minutes and then we will be starting everything off here. Nice. Abby, why are you not showing your face? What's going on here? I haven't seen your face in ages and I can't even see it now. Oh, nice. Jennifer's coming in. Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Nice. Okay, you and Destiny will hit it off. I'm just telling you right now.
It's the pink
I love
hair.
your hair.
That's definitely what it is. Yeah. Sweet. Abby, where's our little mini boss babe? Is she coming?
She's napping.
Okay. Nice. So I timed
Perfect
this.
timing.
Yeah.
She's trained.
Perfect.
Mine aren't.
Ready to be a mom, apparently. I know how to do work meetings during nap time. So
Yeah.
nice. Perfect. Okay, amazing. Welcome, welcome. Jennifer, how we doing? Good to see you.
Yes, I took my break to do this.
Perfect. Amazing. Love it. That sounds like the best way to spend the break, but I'm a little biased because I know we're gonna have some fun here.
That's good.
Yeah, amazing. And we're gonna have some fun in August too. I am so pumped for that shootout, man. I was
Yeah,
working on that yesterday. I was like, oh, this
yeah, I'm pretty excited to do that again. That'll be fun.
yeah, 100%. It's gonna be a great time. We got awesome people. I got amazing vendors. It's gonna be fun. Oh, Abigail, nice. Okay. I'm gonna give people 1 more minute and then we're just gonna jump in and people can come in as they do. Let's grab this open. All righty, we are gonna have some fun here. So let's slide that over. All righty, cool. So somebody else wants the link as well. I will do that, and then we will jump on. Abigail, you showing your face today or what? I'm calling out certain people. You guys can keep your camera on if you want, but I pick on the people that I know. If I don't know you, I won't pick on you. But once I get to know you, probably will call you out. Oh, Vienna's coming on. Nice. Vienna is one of my associates, actually. She is a rock star. So happy that she's coming on. Cool. I think I've given enough time for those that need to come on late for whatever reason, but I won't roast them as people come in late. I'll be nice today. Tomorrow, there's no guarantees, but today I'll be nice because I've been quite excited for this mastermind. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is during this, we're gonna be using the chat box a lot. So just make sure that if you're on your computer, phone, whatever, make sure your chat box is open because I'm gonna have you guys be typing different things out, then you can see everyone's responses. So to start off with, I would love if everybody can go ahead, use the chat box. Tell me where in the world you are chiming in from. I know some of you are local and some are not. So go ahead and put that in the chat box and then we can see where everybody's coming in from. Okay, so we're gonna have this amazing Edmonton, 2 representatives from Edmonton. I like it. And in fact, they're friends too, so that's pretty dope. Amazing. Okay, perfect. Vancouver, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not biased at all. Abbotsford's cool too. Okay, amazing. Well, I'm really glad that you guys took the time out of your day here. Jennifer's on her break taking this to come, so love the dedication. Yes, Vienna is literally down the street. 200th traffic is probably pretty killer right now, but we are both in Langley, which is pretty dope. So Thank you everybody for telling me where you're from. Now, the next thing that I would like to do is I would love if you guys can all go ahead and tell me what niche of people do you serve in your photography business. I would love to hear that, and then we are gonna dive into things. I got lots to cover in an hour here, so yeah, go ahead and comment that, and then we will get rocking here. But I want this to be very interactive, so we're gonna use the chat box a lot. I'm gonna talk a lot. Those of you that have done coaching with me know that's usually the case. But yes, amazing. Couples, weddings, family. Okay, we got some good. Yes, Brianna freaking kills it at Boudoir. Man alive. Love it. But I like the everything photographer. That's so good. Okay, amazing. Abby does boudoir. Who knew? Love it. Okay, cool. We got some common themes going on. So, small families and couples. Man, like mad respect to those of you that have the patience for families. Like kudos to you. I phased out of that very, very quickly because I realized like be really, really patient to get those shots. So shout out to you guys that that offer that. Good job. Even family formals on weddings. I'm like, oh no, I have flashbacks to family sessions. It's just not good. So cool. Appreciate everybody sharing here. So what we're gonna do during this intensive is I'm gonna be going through some different strategies when it comes to, I know a lot of you are currently in a either you're in a part-time state and you want to transition to full-time, or you're just simply wanting to increase your bookings from where you're at. So regardless what camp you're at, I had some people message me say, hey, I'm already full-time, but I just want to be making more. Can I still join? I'm like, look, this is going to be relevant to everyone. So just super happy that you're on. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a bunch of different info. And then I'll do some open Q&A at the end. There should be time for that. But we all know I can get caught up because I get pretty hyped about business stuff. So yeah, just keep that chat box handy. If I'm talking about something and you want clarification, use that chat box. I got mine open here. And then we will go from there. So yeah, first and foremost, what I want to do here is I want to talk a little bit about because I know a lot of us want to scale our businesses, and I want to go through a little bit around mindset, because I think at the end of the day, it obviously is a very like, it almost feels like a buzzword, like it's very overused, but I do truly believe that a lot of photographers do have a mindset block because we get very caught up in the artistic side and we're not so much really thinking about the actual marketing, business, and sales side. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of photographers that are incredible artists, but they can't serve people because they're not putting any kind of emphasis on the actual marketing and business side. So the good news is I love to talk about that stuff. So we're going to be going through a lot of that today. But when it comes to the mindset part, I think the biggest thing that I want to really point out is when you are really thinking about your business, and when it comes down to mindset, it's like, you know, I've had a lot of people say, I ask them, you know, what's your goal? And, you know, they might say, let's say, for example, I really want to hit 6 figures. I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, we need to make a plan and work backwards. But you need to think like a 6-figure business owner, and a 6-figure business owner is going to think a lot differently than somebody that's like, oh yeah, you know, oh no, I can't really take that jump, or no, I wouldn't be able to spend on that, or oh, I can't do that. And there's all these excuses because they can't do it. But then at the end of the day, you're in this block because you're like, I can't do that because, and I'm like, if you were already a 6-figure business owner, you would be thinking a lot differently. You'd be making a lot more different decisions. So that's one thing I usually like to point out. And that's not to say that you need to be, you know, in an incredible financial position. A lot of times people aren't, but you build your way up from there. So that's like one mindset piece that I love to point out is, you know, even if you're not in that full-time or 6-figure, whatever you want to be at, everybody's goal is different. I just want everybody to realize like, okay, it does ultimately come down to, okay, you know what? I'm going to adjust my mindset here. And that's going to really change the way that you're making decisions in your business. So that's the first thing that I like to point out there is, you know, thinking bigger, making yourself you know, little goals along the way to your ultimate goal. And you know, the biggest piece is you can make a plan and then we can work backwards from there so that it's not this big daunting thing of, well, I want to do that, but I have no idea how to get there. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to build a map so that it's not this big scary thing. And I'm hoping at the end of this that we can really dive into, especially we got a nice small crew today, we can dive into some specific goals and we can chat through that a little bit more. So that's kind of the first piece there that I'd like to mention. The next thing that I'd like to jump into is I want to talk about, you know, when you're thinking about your current state of the business right now, I would love to have you guys pop into the chat here. I want you to give me a percentage wise of you working in your business. So example would be, you know, editing, shooting, fulfillment for your clients, anything you're doing on that wise. What percentage of your time is split between that versus working on your business when it comes to marketing, content creation, social media management, like everything like that? When it comes to that, I would love if you guys can pop into the chat. What percentage is your time split between? Because I'm always curious about that. Personally, I've found it can really split. Okay. So yeah, pop into the chat. Which one is on? Which one is in? Give me the percentage. I would love to take a look at that and see, just see the differences here. Okay, it looks like everybody's looking for the to type the chat in there, but I'll give everybody a minute here to pop that in. So Destiny, 70%, is that on or in? Mm-mm-mm. 50-50. Okay, cool. Anyone else, feel free to pop it into the chat and then I will move on to some thoughts and strategies behind that. I'll give one more minute here. Okay, 70 in, 30 on. Okay. Minimal right now, 20% working on, in a deep slump, figuring out how to get remotivated. Okay. Abigail, 25%, is that on or in? I should have clarified that before I had everybody punch it in of which number to put in the chat, but is anyone else, can anyone else relate to Brianna said, you know, in a deep slump, finding it hard to get remotivated. Has anyone been there or feeling that way right now? Pop it into the chat because I know I can definitely relate to that. 25% on. Okay. We're on there. Yeah, for sure. Caitlin's also feeling that way in a slump. Okay, perfect. Well, we're in the right place here that hopefully by the end of this, you'll be feeling a little bit more motivated. And also, I think a lot of the times, and I'm speaking for myself, but a lot of times I can get into a slump when I feel like there's a million things that I need to be doing, but I just simply don't have the time to be doing. So we're going to be going through some time management, different pieces as well, because I know that it can, yeah, definitely just feel like a lot. And it's like, where should my time be going? What's going to be beneficial? And then that's when we get overwhelmed. And I know for me, you guys can put into the chat box here if you feel the same, but for me, whenever I'm in that state, I just do nothing. I literally just step back and I'm like, scary, shut down mode. And I literally just do nothing. So I feel like that's a common thing that I've noticed especially in the photography industry, because it's like, we do go like crazy hard fulfillment mode for a few months and then we go, oh, now it's slow, now I have time. And I think ultimately my goal for every photographer that I either do one of these masterminds with or I do a coaching program with, the ultimate goal is like, where's that balance? How can we get you a balanced lifestyle with, obviously we're hitting the bookings that you want to be getting, but you're also, you know, we're not burning you out. That's obviously a fear a lot of the times, right? So, okay, total shutdown mode. Yeah. Sweet. I'm glad I'm not alone on that because it'd be a little awkward if you're all like, nah, that's just you. But given the extra time and I will extra time down. Yeah, totally. I think one thing I've been saying to myself for like 5 years is, oh yeah, I'll do that when things slow down, when life slows down. Life never slows down. Like I said that the other day, and my brother was like, when is life going to slow down for you? I was like, that's a great point. I don't know. So yeah, literally never. So I think at the end of the day, if we're not actually intentional in our business for making time to grow the business, it doesn't grow. And one thing that you guys obviously all I'd see me spamming Facebook, TikTok, everything. I post a lot, okay? Don't hate me for it. But one thing I'm a big advocate for is like I don't sugarcoat anything. So I'm like, hey, if you want big results in your business, it's going to take effort. So, at the end of the day, if we can be consistent for every effort you're putting in, and it's not just this matter of like, I'm super motivated for a month and then you fall off the face of the earth for 3 months and then you're super motivated and then you fall off the face of the earth. Whenever I'm doing social media audits for people in my program, I notice a common thing when they start is I look at it and I'm like, hey, I noticed that you posted really consistently for this span of time. What happened for these 6 months? Like what? Oh, I got busy, I had weddings, I had shoots, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, we got to change that. So I'm like, then you're a total stranger when you show again, then you show up on social media for a bit and people are like, who is this? I don't know this person, why do I follow them? And they have no idea who you are because you just fell off the face of the earth. So my goal is to be able to help you guys out that you're able to have a plan in place of, okay, you know what, we can simplify, I can help you with some social media strategies and different pieces just so that it can be a little bit less daunting and a little bit more of just a easy and hands-on experience when it comes to working on the business. So one thing I would love to hear from you guys as well is like, when it comes to social media marketing, I would love to have you from a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you enjoy the process of actually marketing yourself on social media? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Esther, I hate it. 10 being like, it is the best thing ever. I love it. I might be the only one here answering a 10, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, Brianna's at 0, guys. She's like, nuh-uh, I can't even give it a 1. Okay, we got a couple zeros. Okay, interesting. I would love to hear from you guys. Can you put in the chat box, like, is it just one platform in particular, or is this like across the board 0? I hate all social media marketing. Vienna's also 0. Okay, interesting. Abigail, you're a 1. Come on, you crush those dances. That really surprises me. Let's see here. Abby, what are you at? Oh, 10. Oh, 10. Amazing. Guys, we have 2 10s. I was like reading that and I was like, okay, except Instagram. Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't want to pick on you, but yes. Okay, yes. And Instagram can definitely be frustrating for sure without how much it changes. I hate being in front of the camera and trying to make reels and TikTok. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Well, we can even go over some different faceless marketing strategies too. Could post photos all day long, captions. Okay, interesting. This is such a common thing. Every photographer under the sun hates captions, is what it seems like. And then you end up not posting. This is so true. So many times people are like, oh yeah, I was gonna post, and then I stared at my phone and didn't know what to say. So then I didn't post anything. Okay, perfect. So yes, Abby freaking crushes it. Like, if you guys want to know how to run a Facebook like page of like amazing stuff, like Abby's the one to look to. She freaking crushes it. And then I'll voice memo her and be like, hey, this post did really well. Do this now. Okay, perfect. So you guys are pretty much on the same page. Videos, yeah, I like videos more as well. Honestly, I need to like remind myself to make sure I'm putting some static posts in, because otherwise it would be literally videos all day long. But I think at the end of the day, what I want to get at here is to really lean into your zone of genius. So it might sound like cliche or whatever, but I don't care. So for me personally, when I'm making my social media strategy, I try and be proactive instead of reactive. And what I mean by this is I'm literally the biggest nerd. I have a spreadsheet, different tabs that are different platforms. So for example, I've got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, blog posts. Like I have it laid out, and then I have my caption templates that are just a plug and play, copy and paste, change some things out. If I need to like refresh it, if I'm like, oh, I've kind of used these a lot, I just swing to ChatGPT, or I have my VA go and make something different, and then I can tweak it. I drop it into my spreadsheet. And then what I go ahead and do is on the TikTok tab is I have literally a million different hooks that I can use for TikTok. And then that way I'm not going to be staring at my phone, not knowing what caption to do. I'm not going to be, on TikTok just like, what should I do today? No, I have saved stuff on there. It's easy. I'm being proactive. So literally I block off my time in my calendar, because one thing I'm going to point out to you guys is, especially with the percentages you were saying for working on versus in, if you don't actually block the time out in your calendar for dedicated marketing time on your business, it just doesn't happen. We were all just saying, like we're very busy, life never slows down. So one thing I would highly recommend to you, if you don't already, is block off time. Like in my calendar, I have it color coordinated so that purple chunks mean that's my uninterrupted marketing time. My phone goes on do not disturb. It's like, no one bug me. Like, this is my time. That way you can just get in the zone, do your thing. If you want to do the spreadsheet route, I recommend it. I think it's really, really great. And then that way you can tackle everything while you're just in that same mindset. So one thing actually, while we're on that topic that I'm going to point out is I'm actually putting together a checklist of 10 social media ideas specifically for photographers. So I'm going to be putting that together. I'm hoping to have that finalized, and then I'm going to be sending it off on Monday. So if you want a copy, just DM me on Facebook and I will get you a copy of that, because I find a lot of times people just don't know what to post. So I am like, I'm going to put that together because that seems to be a common trend. So anyway, that's one piece there. Now, the next thing I would love to hear from you guys is I want to talk about building a profitable portfolio. So I know a lot of you mentioned weddings in the chat here is what you do. Some of you mentioned families, boudoir. I honestly think this concept applies to everyone when it comes to building a profitable portfolio. So what I would love to hear in the chat box is if you guys can go ahead and tell me a little bit of, you can say, maybe a sentence or two of like, do you feel like you put emphasis on building out your portfolio for more high-end content that you're wanting to attract the right clientele? So I know for me, I don't really want, just the kind of weddings that look like they were thrown together in a matter of 2 weeks and you can tell. I don't really want those, to be honest. So when it comes to the content, I'm trying consistently to be doing a really good upkeep of luxurious weddings of fun couples. So I would love to hear in the chat box, tell me, is this something that you put priority on? Is this something you've already put into practice? What does that look like for you when it comes to building your portfolio? Because I'm super passionate about this. And honestly, I wish I would have put more emphasis on it sooner in my business. It took me too long. But I want to talk about it today because I can tell you a bunch of different case studies about how important this is and the amount of incredible bookings. A lot of you say to me, I'll get Facebook messages, and this includes like people from the Hustlers Facebook group, people just from their friends list. Oh my gosh, how did you get a wedding there? I'm like, because I invested a crap ton of money into building my portfolio out. And now it's coming back of everyone being like, oh, hey, I want to fly you out here. I want to do this. I want to do that. But the amount of money invested is wild. So could definitely improve, trying a little uncertain if I'm going in the right direction. Vienna, I would love if you can also toss in the chat box here a little bit more about that. When you say the right direction, are you saying in terms of like the right clientele, or you're not sure who your ideal clientele is? I would love to hear a little bit clarification there. Took me time to get to where I now post pictures that I want to do. Okay, for sure. Yeah, it's honestly one of those things that I feel like is way too much on the back burner for a lot of times. Could definitely improve. If I don't get a good vibe from the couple, I won't let them book. Good. Adventurous stuff. Yeah, so guys, this is a great example. Abigail just recently moved to Colorado from Florida. Both very different landscapes. So I think that's great. She's doing a rebrand of like, hey, now that I've moved, I'm gonna need a lot of different content. So to be able to really lean into that, try to put in practice, but show intentionally have couples do certain posing. Okay, amazing. Makes seem like okay, perfect. I think that's super important. Because honestly, another thing is like clients seem to think that they're kind of in this like, oh yeah, like I kind of know what I want for my wedding, but then when they land on your page and they see the type of shots or emotion or whatever you're doing with your page, that's a lot of times what can draw them into like, oh, hey, that's what I want. And now they have a better idea of what they want, and it's you that they want. So I think that's the really, really cool thing when it comes to actually posting what you want to book more of. Can definitely put more effort in. Been picky of who you chose. Yeah, 100%. Break away from families. Okay, amazing. Focus on couples and elopements. So finally start investing, organizing TFP style shoots. Okay, amazing. I think that's super, super important. And a lot of the times, when we want to, swing from one niche to another, a lot of times people don't put emphasis in that. So I love that you're doing that to build out your portfolio. One thing I will mention on this is even if some of you are like, yeah, like I've done a little bit of it or whatnot, I think that it's honestly something that is never, ever finished. To me, it's a continual upkeep and grooming process. So, especially as like we as humans, we're always changing. And for me, like my business and brand is continually evolving. So how can I have a portfolio that just stays still? These are the weddings that I get, so that's what I post. Like, I don't care how many weddings I'm booking or at what price point. I will continually keep making sure that I'm doing a good grooming of my portfolio. What does this mean? Well, this means that whenever I'm doing my goal planning for the year, I like to actually write down, hey, who is my ideal client? How has it changed from the last year? Who were my favorite clients? And I usually try pinpoint one particular couple from the year that they were my all-time favorites. And then I figure out why. Why were they so awesome? And then I go and plan a styled shoot just like that so that I can start bringing in more people just like them. So that's one thing that I think is really, really great. And then change the website. Okay, amazing. Yes, I remember the day that I like got that off of my website. My web designer just did a brand new section about lifestyle sessions and families and all this stuff. And we were gonna go live with the web, and I was like, get rid of all the family stuff. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry. I had a change of heart. I woke up and was like, what am I doing? I don't like doing those. So that's great. You changed your website there. Because weddings, 100%, and families always needed. Yeah, and I mean, you also, if you do have a passion for it, then I'm like, hey, like, don't ditch that. If you genuinely enjoy it, I genuinely hated it, so I'm like, I'm not serving anyone right now. But if you enjoy it, then I'm like, hey, more power to you. And also it can be kind of a cool reoccurring business revenue model as well to work with if you enjoy it. So anyway, there's a couple things that I do believe you really, really need to be doing if you are in a state where you're like, yeah, like I wanna get a full-time income from this. So before I kind of jump into some of these steps in the chat box, I would love to hear from you guys. For let's say if you're let's go with 2025. I mean, I would love to just look at that as a year of like you crushing your goal. Go ahead, drop in the chat box. I would love to hear what your top goal is. And then if you are comfortable sharing, I want to know what revenue goal do you want to crush for 2025. So some of you have messaged me independently and say, hey, I want to be full income, full time by the end of 2025. I recently had a couple of people message me that yesterday, and I was like, great, let's get you there. But I would love to hear while we're working through this, because I'm going to go through some different strategies. and then I can adapt as need be. But would love to hear from you guys your ultimate top goal for 2025. And then if you're comfortable sharing, drop your revenue goal. So this is gross sales, what you want to do in your business, not expenses, taxes, anything like that, just gross sales. What do you want to do for 2025? Drop it in the chat box, and then I'm going to go through some strategies here. I've got about 6 different ones we're going to be going through. Make sure you got your pens ready, and we're going to be carousing through that. Okay, amazing. Oh, I got to scroll up here. Okay, perfect. Yes, perfect for local weddings and 80K, 100%. Yeah, we're definitely going to crush that. And then Brianna wants to hit 6 figures. Let's find a studio space. Yes, 100%. Especially since you're really focusing on boudoir. I feel like anyone who really wants to push and go run with that, like a studio, 100% makes sense. Me having a studio probably wouldn't make much sense, but I love that, and hitting 6 figures, that is amazing. And then 6 weddings last year. Oh yes, okay, full-time weddings, 6 weddings, at least 20K. Amazing. Okay, that is perfect. Now if you guys can go ahead and drop what is the average investment that your ideal client spends with you, if you can drop that in the chat box. So let's say, for example, your packages are like 5, 6, and 7 grand. Are people mostly booking the 6? Are they doing like, you know, half to the 5, then the 7, then we would average? But I would love to hear, what is the average ticket of your ideal clientele spending? That's what I would love to hear. Abigail, I don't per se have a goal for numbers since just transition. Okay, totally makes sense. One thing I will challenge you on, and I'll probably be talking a lot of business at the end of the month too, but I'll be talking your ear off about business then. But one thing I will say is, even guys, this is a great example. Even if you have just transitioned to a new area, I think getting your name out there is a wonderful goal. However, it's not like you can't track that. You can't track and measure, did I get my name out there? Well, yeah, you probably did. But I would still say that even if you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be like a stretch goal this year or 2025 or things like that, but I would still have measurable goals just so that you know, okay, I'm going to be striving towards this, and then we can make a plan backwards from there. So not to call you out, I just wanted to use that as an example, because I find that does happen a lot of times, as people say, I want to just, you know, get better at marketing. I'm like, all right, we got to talk about that. So, okay. New to the area, having a hard time building clientele. Average is 400. Okay, perfect. So, because usually what I like to do is, okay, last year pricing increases for family. Okay, perfect. I love this. This is great. I'm a bit of a number geek, so I love to know what we're aiming towards. And the reason I'm asking this is because when it comes to making a plan, and what I would like to do is, I would like to have a conversation with each of you afterwards, as well as I want to send you a message of like, hey, here's 3 things that for your business specifically you should be doing to achieve this goal. So that's why I'm not trying to be super nosy into your business as such, which is why I say, you know, if you're comfortable sharing, numbers can be a bit of a vulnerable thing for sure. So but yeah, that's kind of the reason I'm asking, is because I want to figure out, for example, let's say, so yeah, Jennifer said 2,400 or 2,700 for wedding packages. So for me, trying to figure out then, okay, we want to hit 20K. I basically just want to figure out, okay, well then this is how many weddings we need. And then these are the metrics you need to hit to get those weddings. So for, in terms of your inquiries that need to be coming in, then we can figure out from the funnel, okay, well, we need to have 10 inquiries coming in a month. You need to book 5 of those. Boom, you're going to be at your sales goal. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is I like to figure out, and that's why I lean really heavy into numbers. Some people would probably say, Esther, you're way too into numbers here. You know, just take a chill pill. But there is a method to my madness, is that I like to figure out that, and then we can make a plan and work backwards. So that's what I plan on doing here. That's why I've got this recorded, as well as I can go back on the chat and I can see, take a look through, and then I can send each of you some bullet points of like, hey, this is what I would recommend that you be working on, putting your time towards, so that we can get you to the goal that you want. So amazing. Abigail, thank you for putting a number out there. I don't want to greet you in Denver and be like, give me a number, woman, like, let's go. So man, those blue seats are pretty cool. I'm just watching her laugh right now. Okay, moving on, guys. So let's get to some strategies here. So essentially, when it comes to actually your plan in place of hitting these goals, there's a few things that I think are 100% necessary if you're wanting to scale the business. Let's even say, you know, a lot of times full-time income, that really can mean something different to every single photographer. But a lot of times it means falling between the 50 to 100K range of sales for the year. So anyway, basically some things that I do believe you need to be doing if you are wanting to hit in between that 50 to 100K range is I've already talked about that profitable portfolio of high-end wedding content. So I've talked enough about that. If you have further questions on that, please shoot me a message. The next thing is, this is going to be no surprise to anyone, but social media strategy in place that is actually a structured strategy and then executed. It's not random posting whenever you think of it. That honestly does not get you anywhere. So when I say that, I've talked about, you know, the spreadsheet idea. I've talked about, I'm going to put together a checklist. You guys have some ideas, but this is going to look different for everyone. And the one thing I would recommend is that you need to have something in place that's actually going to be manageable for you and your lifestyle right now. So don't do something that's like so outlandish that's just, you know, you're going to do that for 3 weeks and then, like I said, fall off the face of the earth. So do something that you know is actually going to be attainable for you, that you can do consistently. And I usually like to challenge people of, when you're putting together those numbers and you're putting together your social media strategy, have it so that it is something you can actually do for 12 months and prove to me you have done that for 12 months consistently. And then we can go ahead and make adjustments as need be. But that's usually the idea that I'm putting out there when putting it together. And I practice what I preach. Like, I do the exact same thing. Sometimes I'll put these like ridiculous goals out, and even my assistant Desiree, she'll kind of be like, what? And and I'm like, look, I know it's kind of crazy. And then I sometimes have to take a step back and be like, can I do this for a year? Like, would I actually be able to, with everything else going on in your life, can I do this for a year? And if the answer is no, I need to revise the goals and the strategy. So that's one piece there. The next one, and this only applies to those that are pushing for wedding bookings, is I believe you need to have a networking strategy in place with venues and with vendors. Now, a lot of times people say to me, oh, yeah, no, I network with them. And I'm kind of like, well, what does that look like? What does this strategy actually look like? And the thing that ends up happening a lot of the times is people say, oh, well, I walked through this venue and I had breakfast with a makeup artist. I'm like, okay, great start, but that's not a strategy. I want you to actually have something, again, that is going to be something that you're able to do for an entire year. So this could look like, you know what? I'm going to send 10 messages to every single different vendor category in my area, or I'm going to make a list of my all-time favorite 20 venues. Maybe you haven't even shot at a lot of those. That's fine. But I think that this is very, very crucial, and something that in the photography industry is just not tapped into enough, and sometimes in certain areas at all. So I do believe having that in place, super, super important. And I, again, because I love numbers, but the reason I love numbers is because it's measurable. So I would say, when you're putting together that strategy, get numbers in place as well. Set goals for you. How many are you going to reach out to? How many are you going to visit? How many are you going to write blog posts about? It needs to actually be something that you're able to say, yep, okay, good, I did that for this month. And then you can move on to your next piece. So anyway, moving on here. Now this is going to be and I would actually, you guys could tell me yes or no in the chat if you've heard this before. but it's one of the most like common things that I hear, but it's something that stuck with me and that I do believe is so true since the beginning of my photography journey is literally as simple as this. The more you shoot, the more you will shoot. Tell me in the chat box if you've heard this before. And I'm gonna unpack it a little bit because I am just like it's literally like my favorite phrase. I should get it like plastered all over my house because it's literally an amazing line, but heard it from you. Yes, amazing. I honestly I love the phrase, and the reason I love it is because whenever I heard it quite early on in my journey. And I remember just like sitting back and being like, it sounds so simple, but it's so like ever since my entire photography journey, I'm like, that's so true. Like literally, as I started doing a lot more shoots, working with more people, different referrals, it's like I was planting all these seeds, different branches were coming out. And it was so incredible. And you'll notice that as you start to work with more people. So one thing I would challenge you on, if you're not already doing, is if you're like, oh, well, because here's what ends up happening a lot of the times. I'll lay it out here is people are like, I don't know how to get shoots. So then they don't shoot and then they don't get bookings. And then the process repeats itself. And to me, that's kind of a depressing process, if you ask me. So that is why it is so important that you're making sure that you're keeping yourself active when it comes to shooting. So I know this is controversial. A lot of people come at me of like, whoa, no, I don't think free shoots a good idea. I'm telling you right now, I don't need to do free shoots. I do them all the time. And the amount of bookings that come out of those is incredible. So if you want to know more about that, chat with me and I can send you some more info on that. But I will say that just keep that in mind. If I were to recommend a number, if you're really serious about scaling, I would say I would like you to be shooting 3 to 5 times a week. That's gonna seem pretty high because you're like, oh, holy crap! Like, oh, chill, Esther. I got kids. I got other stuff going on. I also have a life. I'm like, hey, I get that, but if you want to scale faster, that's what I would recommend. That's what I did. And at the time I was working like 4 jobs. So it was a little bit intense, but you guys also know I'm a little bit crazy. So anyway, that's one thing I will say there is I'll leave that with you guys. Now, the next piece is I'm going to actually talk about hours of time per week that you can be spending on growing your business. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. This number that I'm going to be suggesting is not including editing time. Before I do that, I know you guys dropped your percentage of what your percentage of working on versus in, but if you can go ahead and do me a favor, drop the amount of hours that you're spending like per week on growing your business. So not including editing time, just strictly on growing your business every single week. What does that look like for you? It's going to look different for everyone. I know a lot of you work other jobs right now, or you have other personal things going on, but I would love to hear from you. What does that look like? Trying to do left, right, and center. Yes, I love that. That's sounds very familiar. I love to hear that. Okay, we got 10 hours. Anyone else want to chime in? I am curious what this looks like. About 5 per week. Okay. 16, but varies per week. 10-ish. Okay, for sure, for sure. Now, I'm gonna ask this, 2 to 5 max right now. Would you guys say, those that answered in the chat, is that your max capacity, or are you tapping out at that because you're either unsure what to do or you other reasons? Like, I'm just kind of curious and want to get a gauge on that. What is that your absolute max out, or is it that you're stopping because of something else? Okay, too much time editing for sure. And then we got 2 to 5 per week. Okay. Cool. Other activities, limited. Most majority, okay, for sure. Okay, so we have a unsure what to do and fun overwhelmed, some stop napping, so it's okay, yeah, that would be tough. I honestly like I don't even know what I would do in that situation. That's like cross that bridge when we get there, but that is tough. Okay. But how are the kids in work? No. Okay. No, I was curious on that because sometimes it is a matter of like I just don't know what to do, or I have yeah, like I do have a little bit more time, but I feel like I'm dedicating it to this area or whatnot. And sometimes I want to lean into like what area is your time going into. So appreciate you guys sharing on that because some of you are gonna raise your eyebrows at me, but what I usually recommend is if you are super, super serious about growth within the business, I say like, hey, if you're able to do 20 hours a week, just strictly working on the business. Now, you can take this to the next level and actually open up your timer app on your computer and you can bucket different areas of time of like, hey, this is how much time is going to, and a lot of times I have members in my program do this. I'm like, okay, they're starting to feel overwhelmed. They're like, I don't know, like time management wise. I literally have them do this for an exercise. And then I say, report back to me of like, how much time per week did you spend on marketing? And I'm like, I want to know what specifically in marketing. So what part of your action plan? So maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's TikTok, Facebook groups, whatever that looks like. And then the next piece is then, okay, editing wise. And I'm like, all right, cool. So you spent this many hours editing wise, you spent this many hours on your website, and we kind of split it up into there. And then we can figure out how can we get more efficient with that. But the number that I would leave with you guys is, and that would be strictly on marketing. So that's not on, like I said, editing, on shooting, different pieces like that. So, I will leave that now, but I will say, that I don't have kids. So for those of you that have kids, I'm like, yo, that's gonna be tough. But I know that I know there is a lot of incredible mom entrepreneurs out there. Hope to be one day, but I'm just like, yo, I can throw these numbers out, but at the end of the day, I only take care of myself right now. So but anyway, time management, I love to chat about time management and different strategies that you can do. But what I would say is I would honestly audit yourself. I would audit yourself during a week and see where's my time going, especially if you are feeling overwhelmed and whatnot. I would be like, you know what, time yourself, bucket time, and see exactly the split of where your time is going and then where you can allow more time for marketing, so that you're able to get your business in a place that is exactly where you're wanting it to be. So okay, next piece here. I want to talk about, so when we talk about ideal client avatar, I want to hear from you guys in the chat box. I want you to be as specific as you can with me and tell me about your ideal client avatar. Like, what does that look like for you? And then I'm going to talk about creating content that we can target exactly to that person. So yeah, go ahead and put that in the chat box, and then I want to talk about creating content because that's fun for me, and my hope is that it'll be helpful. So that is what I would like to be happening in the chat box, and then we will keep rocking and rolling here. People must be very, very specific because it's taken a bit, which is good. Okay. Cool. Adventurous, fun, loving, who love the outdoors. Okay. Fun, easygoing, friendly. Okay, exactly like me. I like it. Let's see who else we got coming in. Adventurous, in love, and isn't stiff. Location at Lux locations, friendly, fun. Okay. Looks like we have some similarities going on. I like it. We got some common denominator of fun happening, and I like that. Okay. Okay, also fun, down to earth, adventurous. So everybody is like fun and adventurous. Seems to be very, very common. I like it. Now, then the question I'll ask you guys is, do you feel like right now, with who you described here, do you think you're doing a really great job at putting out content that's going to resonate with them? So for those of you that said like adventurous or fun couples or really laid back, do you feel like right now your social media and website will resonate with them if they were to jump onto your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever? Do you feel like that's going to resonate with them? Is that the kind of brand that you're building out right now, or where are you kind of at when it comes to that? Because yeah, I'll leave it there, but I would love to hear from you guys what that looks like when it comes to the actual quality of content, how that's resonating with your ideal client avatar. I'm always curious on that. Okay, and then Abby also said fun and down to earth. Okay, amazing. Abigail said more recent. Ladies couples who want to invest in the full meal deal. Okay, nice. So they're wanting to get the full experience and spend some money on that. Be doing a better job showing off sessions. Be at the full. Okay, perfect. So you feel like you could be doing better, and then I think yes, not exact, but it's not looking exactly how I want. Okay. If it ended up being ideal, minimal content. Okay, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, because I'm always curious on that. I find a lot of the times what ends up happening is, yeah, when it comes down to your ideal client, one thing I will challenge you guys on is today, even like after this call, a lot of you said some great info, or all of you said like, fun, adventurous. I love that. But what I would challenge you to do after this call is like hone in on that. Like, I want you to literally like not necessarily write me an essay, but like get like so specific on this person, because what that's going to do for you is that's going to unlock content creation to be a lot easier for you if you can actually hone in a lot more. So an easy example is like, I like that Jennifer said, she said somebody like me. I love that. Because when I did this exercise for my business, and honestly, I still will redo it sometimes because I feel like it is constantly evolving. Sometimes I'll reflect on like who was my favorite client from last wedding season, and I'll write everything I know about them. I'll write down like their job, each of the spouses. So like last year, for example, I had a couple, their names are Justin and Bethany, and my goodness, were they my kind of people. So as I, kind of redo this exercise, I'm like, okay, Justin and Bethany. And then I wrote down, I was like, okay, cool. So he's a cop, she's a makeup artist. They live in the Kootenays here. They have a corgi as a pet. What they like to do for fun, well, they like to go for hikes. I noticed they do a lot of swimming, and I literally like I knew some of this stuff from our client meetings and such, but I also just went back to their Instagram and I did a full deep dive as part of this exercise. And I was like, okay, I want to figure out everything, because I had so much fun with them on the wedding day that I was like, man, if I could only book these kind of couples and only attract these kind of couples, like that would be so dope. So basically that's what I would recommend doing, is get so specific, so that literally you have a ridiculous amount of info on them. You did like a background check on them. That's what I highly recommend doing. And then when you're actually, when you've chunked out your calendar to your marketing time, and then you're gonna get into content creating, you can literally have that open on your document, or maybe you wrote it down in your notebook. You have that open and you're like, okay, now when it comes to content creation, I can make things that are going to literally be calling them out, so that somebody who is on your social media, or maybe you're going to use some of that language on your website, they're like, hey, that's me. You're talking to me. And again, I seem to be throwing out some cliche lines, but I do want to just leave it as well as like, if you are trying to market to everyone, you're really marketing to no one. And at the end of the day, if you are a little bit more generic in your ideal client, I think that is going to have your business suffer because you're not actually able to have somebody say, she's talking to me. That's totally me. I need to work with her. Like she knows everything about me. And that's where your like website language, your language on social media, some of the hooks that you choose to use, everything in your content creation is going to be way easier because you actually know exactly who you're talking to. So I used, Bethany and Justin as an example. But I also a lot of the times just do some self-reflection because I'm like, man, like if I could shoot my own wedding, like I'm my ideal client. Oh yeah. And I'll like do a little bit of reflection on that too. Cause I'm like, to be honest, like I would like to work with people that are like-minded to me. Cause I also know what kind of experience they're going to be looking for. And I know how I can improve my client experience. So, anyway, I'll leave that there, but that is an exercise I would highly recommend doing. Maybe it's something you've done in the past and maybe it's something that just needs to be updated. That's a lot of the times the case is that's how it goes. So, okay, so that is one thing that I wanted to mention there. Okay, let's see what Brianna's got going on. So I'm just doing some moisturizer here. My hands are killer from the gym. Okay. Enjoy. Okay, amazing. Hopefully it was helpful for you, Abigail. I am super glad that you were able to jump on because okay, that is tough. You enjoy everything. I don't think to split. Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. Especially, I think you said a 0 for like enjoying social media. So that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Yes, I will see you tomorrow, Jennifer. Enjoy working here. What I would love to do here, guys, I know it is 1 o'clock here, and I've been talking a lot of stuff here. One thing I would like to do just to round out here is I would love to hear from you guys. Is there anything on some of these topics you would like me to clarify? Or questions related to these, go ahead, drop it in the chat box. I would love to answer a couple of these before we wrap up here. And then, like I said, afterwards, I'm going to be sending you guys this recording. And then I'm going to send you some bullet points as well, just as a thank you for coming to the mastermind here. Going to send a couple points of different pieces that I recommend once I go through this chat box here with this amazing info that you guys have provided me with. So yeah, I'll give a couple minutes here, 2-3 minutes. If anything comes to mind, if you feel like this info is resonating with you or has been helpful, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat if you're like, this didn't resonate with me. But I just would love to hear from you if it's making sense or resonating from what we've gone through. And then questions, I'll give 2 minutes to keep an eye on the chat box here and clarify or answer what's on your mind, and then we will wrap up. Don't see anything coming in right now. So then appreciate. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can definitely get that for you, Brianna. I'll send you those bullet points and we can totally chat about coaching. Time and connecting with the ideal audience for sure. Grateful for the advice. Okay, amazing. I'm glad that it's been motivating. I love doing it, especially like I feel like a lot of times in these group masterminds, everybody is pretty like-minded in that, hey, I'm here to grow. I want to learn. I'm motivated. So that's super awesome. And then, okay, amazing. Destiny, I'm glad you loved it. I literally cannot wait. We are going to have so much fun and get huge results. So it's going to be a fun time. Time management. So this is super helpful to hear that you guys are saying time management, because what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a training specifically on time management as a small business owner, because I would take another hour talking about time management. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that together because it seems like that's a common thing. I had another somebody that came to the, I think that she came to the 2023 Boss Babe Retreat. She messaged me and said like, hey, you know, time management's been a struggle, and I also want to know like where should my time be going? What should I be outsourcing? And we had a really good conversation on that, and I was kind of like, huh, it seems to be a common theme. So Abby would like that too. Can you yes, can you pretend you have kids? That's amazing. Brianna seconds this. Oh, and Abby's got her little one. Oh my gosh. Yes, I will pretend that I am a mama as well, because I think like, yeah, there's a lot of moms on this call actually, now that I think about it. She is so freaking cute. Our tiny boss babe. You got to put your boss babe sweater in the wash a lot of times and then have it for her. Oh man. Somebody's awake from their nap. I gotta go to Edmonton right now. I gotta hold this baby. So like literally right now. But then you're gonna give me baby fever, and then that's a whole nother thing. I'm like, I'm not ready. But yes, in the time management, I will just pretend that I have kids, so I make something that's actually gonna be, you know, feasible and not something that's super unrealistic and whatnot. And you can tell that that'll change. Okay, perfect. I'm glad that'll keep me in line with timing of life. So okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate that everybody came to this here. Like I said, I'm gonna put together that time management resource. I have a couple other things that I'm in the process of putting together, like the content creation. So if you want a copy, send me a message, and then I'm going to send a follow up to everybody where I have a couple bullet points of things I would recommend. But other than that, happy Friday to everyone. It is the weekend. I know that doesn't really mean much as small business owners, but it's still sunny and it's Friday. So I always think it's funny when people say like, oh yeah, like Esther, it's Friday. I'm like, sweet, I work 24/7. But it is always, it's nice when it's Friday. So anyway, long story short, guys, good to see everyone. I will send you all a follow-up message this afternoon once I wrap up my other meetings. And then, yeah, just everybody enjoy the weekend. And thank you for coming. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day. And I'll put together some of these resources here. And we will see you all, hopefully see you all on the next mastermind that I plan. So anyway, bye for now, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day here.